Human trafficking presents an immense and formidable challenge to the United States, given its vast scale and pervasive nature. Each year, a multitude of individuals fall victim to this abhorrent crime, enduring unimaginable suffering as they are transported and exploited within the country's borders and beyond state lines. Despite efforts of states and non-governmental organizations, the disheartening reality is that the global incidence of identified human trafficking cases has surged by over fourfold between 2008 and 2019, soaring from approximately 30,000 to a staggering near 120,000. Tragically, the United States finds itself bearing the weight of this escalating tide of trafficking incidents, amplifying the urgency to confront this grave injustice head-on. The exploitation of vulnerable populations highlights the extent of this issue. Hillary Clinton, in her book, Hard Choices, stated that one of the biggest challenges for her administration was that of human trafficking and illegal entrance from U.S.-Mexico borders. We intend to provide current issues in 5 minutes video packs. Support us through your likes and shares and subscribe our channel as well. In the recent years, the United States has witnessed a notable rise in the number of illegal migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border. Fiscal year 2021 saw a staggering figure of over 1.7 million apprehensions, marking the highest number since 2000. Among those apprehended, a significant portion consisted of victims of human trafficking. The majority of these, 65% in the same fiscal year, involved Mexican nationals, emphasizing the significance of this border dynamic. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that other countries within the Northern Triangle, such as Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, also contribute to this phenomenon due to rampant violence and deep-rooted poverty. Regrettably, in recent years, the Darien Gap has emerged as a favored route for human traffickers to reach the United States from South America. In 2021 alone, an estimated 150,000 migrants went across the Darien Gap. Tragically, many faced unimaginable perils, including violence, exploitation, and abuse, highlighting the grave humanitarian crisis this region represents. If we look at the picture, children account for 30% of all human trafficking victims globally, and approximately 1 in 3 detected trafficking victims are children. Immigrants, including refugees and asylum seekers, are also susceptible to trafficking, with migrants accounting for around 70% of detected trafficking victims in certain regions. Runaway and homeless youth are particularly vulnerable, with 37% of cases reported to the National Human Trafficking Hotline in 2020 involving victims under the age of 18 who were homeless or had run away. Individuals experiencing poverty are also at greater risk. The International Labor Organization estimates that approximately 21 million people worldwide are victims of forced labor, a form of human trafficking, often trapped due to economic circumstances. Furthermore, those lacking robust social support networks are more susceptible to traffickers, with 48% of victims in the United States entering trafficking situations with no or limited social support. Invisibility and underreporting are significant challenges in combating human trafficking. Many victims remain hidden and faces barriers in seeking help. The International Labor Organization estimates that only 1% of human trafficking cases are actually reported. While 79% of trafficking victims are women and girls, boys and men are also victims, particularly in forced labor situations. It is important to note that there are 100,000 to 300,000 victims of human trafficking in the United States, but only 1 in 50 victims are ever identified. The involvement of organized criminal networks further complicates the challenge. Around 70% of human trafficking cases involve these networks, which operate across borders and engage in other criminal activities such as drug trafficking and money laundering. The profits from human trafficking are estimated to be as high as $150 billion per year. Additionally, traffickers are increasingly using technology to facilitate their crimes, including social media for victim recruitment, encrypted messaging apps for communication, and fake travel documents for transportation. The demand for cheap labor and exploitative services, driven by factors like globalization, economic disparities, and consumer demand, creates an environment conducive to trafficking. Forced labor generates profits of $150 billion to $250 billion annually, with 71% of trafficking victims exploited for this purpose. Industries reliant on cheap labor, such as agriculture, construction, and manufacturing, are particularly vulnerable. Additionally, consumer demand for exploitative services like prostitution and sex tourism drives trafficking, especially in states with high levels of tourism. Sex trafficking remains a significant challenge, involving the commercial sexual exploitation of individuals, primarily women and children, for forced prostitution, pornography, and sex tourism. In the United States, between 15,000 and 50,000 women and children are forced into prostitution each year. In 2021, 41% of the reports received by the National Human Trafficking Hotline involved sex trafficking cases. Addressing human trafficking requires comprehensive efforts, including raising awareness, strengthening laws and law enforcement, providing support services for survivors, and addressing the root causes such as poverty, inequality, and demand for exploitative labor and services. Collaborative actions involving governments, civil society organizations, businesses, and individuals are crucial in combating this heinous crime and protecting the rights and dignity of trafficking victims. The United States government has taken steps to enhance legislation and enforcement efforts. The Trafficking Victims Protection Act provides a comprehensive legal framework to address trafficking, offering protection and assistance to victims, as well as imposing penalties on traffickers. Additionally, the Department of Homeland Security, along with other federal agencies, has established specialized units and task forces to investigate and prosecute trafficking cases. Furthermore, non-governmental organizations and advocacy groups play a vital role in supporting victims and raising awareness. Organizations like Polaris Project and the National Human Trafficking Hotline provide resources, support services, and a platform for reporting trafficking incidents. These initiatives have helped identify and rescue victims, disrupt trafficking networks, and provide survivors with the necessary assistance to rebuild their lives. International cooperation is crucial in combating human trafficking. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, plays a central role in coordinating global efforts through its global program against trafficking in persons. The fight against human trafficking is an ongoing battle. As traffickers adapt their methods and exploit new vulnerabilities, efforts to combat trafficking must evolve and remain vigilant. Continued investment in resources, coordination among stakeholders, and a multifaceted approach that addresses the root causes of trafficking are crucial in making meaningful progress towards eradicating this grave violation of human rights. Hit like and share if you enjoyed this video, and do not forget to subscribe our channel.